Well, June 25th, 1975, the darkest day in the history of India, when former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi imposed emergency for 21 months, imprisoned more political opponents and censored the press. Today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi sent us a reminder of those days. He tweeted, saying, "Today is a day to pay homage to all those great men and women who resisted the emergency. The dark days of emergency remind us of how the Congress party subverted basic freedoms and trampled over the Constitution of India, which every Indian respects greatly. The mindset which led to the imposition of the emergency is very much alive amongst the same party which imposed it. They hide their disdain for the Constitution through their tokenism, but the people of India have seen through their antics, and that is why they have rejected them time and time again." Well, this reminder of the Prime Minister comes as the opposition is carrying copies of the Constitution to Parliament, citing an undeclared emergency in India today, is what they say. But what was Narendra Modi doing during the emergency? Well, since he wasn't at all leader, let's take a look at this story that shaped his career. The Navnirman movement in Gujarat, led by students and the middle class against corruption and economic crisis, was a significant initial movement that led to the dissolution of the Congress government. Well, this in fact is Narendra Modi taking part in the Navnirman Andolan, whereas the Yuva Pracharak of the RSS, he was deputed to the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Paridhi to voice the youth movement. Well, this is in fact an excerpt about the Navnirman movement in the pages of Narendra Modi's personal diary. I'm going to read out the entire poem in Hindi. जब कर्तव्य ने पुकारा तो कदम कदम बढ़ गए, जब गूंज उठा नारा भारत माता की जय, तब जीवन का मोह छोड़ प्राण पुष चढ़ गए, कदम कदम बढ़ गए, तोलिया की तोलिया जब चल पड़ी, यौवन की तो चौखट चरमरा गई, सिंहासन हिल गए, प्रजातंत्र के पहरेदार सारे भेदभाव तोड़ सारे अभिनिवेश छोड़ गए, मंजिलों पर मिल गए चुनौती की हर पंक्ति को सब एक साथ पढ़ गए, कदम कदम बढ़ गए, सारा देश बोल उठा, जयप्रकाश जिंदाबाद तो दहल उठा, तानाशाह भुकुतिया तन गई, लाठियां बरस पड़ी सीनों पर माथे पर. A year later, the emergency was imposed and Narendra Modi joined the protests against it. He worked with two RSS leaders very, very closely, Nath Zagra and Vasant Gajendra Gadkar. When censorship peaked, Modi and volunteers organized meetings and took on the responsibility of disseminating underground literature. Due to the scarcity, this was a big challenge. Narendra Modi's solution was loading materials related to the Constitution, laws and Congress government successes into trains departing from Gujarat to other states. This helped deliver messages to remote places with less risk of detection. Now, after the RSS was forced to go underground, the Gujarat Lok Sangharsh Samiti was established. At age 25, he swiftly ascended to the position of its General Secretary within 3 years. The job he took on was to send underground publications abroad and amplify international resistance as well. In one correspondence, which is currently playing on your screens, there was a discussion about collecting paper cuttings of Narendra Modi's articles from publications like the Gujarat Newsletter and the Sadhana Patrika, along with underground literature and prints, intending to broadcast them on platforms like the BBC. Narendra Modi's colleagues abroad sent photocopies of Satyavani and other newspapers published internationally that featured articles opposing the emergency. He would ensure copies of those materials were prepared and then deliver them to the jails. Additionally, underground magazines from Gujarat and Gujarati publications critical of the emergency, such as Sadhana, Bhumiputra by Chunibhai Vaidya and Sadhana in Marathi, were also distributed inside jails. Remarkably, an underground newspaper was regularly published from the Yerawada jail, which of course is in Maharashtra. Now, like other Satyagrahis, Narendra Modi adopted various disguises to evade detection. His disguises were so effective that even long-time acquaintances failed to recognize him. He dressed up as a Swamiji in saffron attire and even as a Sikh wearing a turban. On one occasion, he successfully deceived authorities at a jail to deliver an important document. Now, after the emergency was lifted in 1977, Narendra Modi's activism and leadership during that tumultuous period started to gain recognition. In the same year, Modi was invited to Mumbai to participate in a discussion about the youth's resistance efforts during the emergency. For his contribution to the program, Modi received 250 rupees. This was a program scheduled in 1977 where you can see Narendra Modi's name featured in the participants. In recognition of his fighting spirit and organizational work during the dark days of emergency, Narendra Modi was appointed the Sambhag Pracharak of South and Central Gujarat. He was also entrusted with the important task of preparing the official articles of the RSS during the emergency. In 1978, Narendra Modi authored his first book, Sangharsh Ma Gujarat, a memoir of his experiences as a leader in the underground movement against the emergency in Gujarat. The book was written in just 23 days and launched by Babu Bhai Jasbhai Patel, the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and was published by Sadhana Weekly. During the launch ceremony, Narendra Modi, then 27 years old, expressed gratitude to the courageous workers, intellectuals, and also the journalists who had played crucial roles in producing and distributing underground bulletins and literature during the emergency. Sangharsh Ma Gujarat is a significant memoir chronicling the experiences during the emergency period and also documenting the collective resistance to it. In fact, Sangharsh Ma Gujarat was very well received and was widely acknowledged for its objective coverage of the dark days of emergency. A review of the book was broadcast on Akashvani, the national public radio broadcaster of India, from Vadodara and Mumbai. Remember, several books have been published in many languages about the emergency crisis since it ended. Almost everyone has claimed that they have written only what they have seen or heard from standard sources. The author of this supplement does not claim to write shocking stories or reveal new truths, but it contains something new and something that is being discovered for the first time, quote unquote. Several prominent newspapers, including the Gujarat Daily Phul Chhap and national English papers like the Hindustan Times and the Indian Express, featured reviews like the one I just read out and covered the book's launch as well. Narendra Modi also received several personal letters reviewing his book and praising his monumental and unique effort. Amongst those letters was one that stood out as particularly special. Just 2 days after attending the book's launch, the sitting Chief Minister Babu Bhai Jasbhai Patel sent a letter to Narendra Modi, praising the book for its wealth of information and also objective approach to the subject matter. Patel also thanked Narendra Modi for painstakingly compiling a variety of information about the emergency.